Comedian Drew Lynch got his big break on America's Got Talent in 2015. Since then, he's attained millions of views online, and he's coming to Chicagoland this weekend to film a new special. Drew, always great to see you. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thanks, Rudy. I was just talking about your coffee setup back there. I can't believe you just put it back there and didn't expect me to say something about it. You got every combination of anything that you want. Your fluids and how they go in. Gosh, your morning ritual seems all put together, Rudy.
It seems all put together. You know what? I feel like now, like we should be having a cup of coffee together. Like I feel like we should be in
It's
the same
how it
room.
feels. It feels we feel like just old gal pals, and
Yeah,
we're not even dishing right now, and I'm upset
yeah.
about
Well, we're gonna be dishing very 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 soon.
it.
A new special. I mean, let's first talk a little bit about coming to Chicago to film it. Talk to me a little bit about picking our city.
Yeah, so as you already know, or maybe don't, but Chicago, I always feel like is just there's just a great comedy city. I mean, they time and time again, so many people go there to film. And I think I'm from the Midwest. Chicago is in the Midwest, but it's still got that like appreciation for art and new projects. And it was almost a no-brainer. I every time I've gone back to Chicago, I've enjoyed the hell out of the shows. So yeah, easy decision.
Four different times that people can watch you two times on Friday, two times on Saturday. As far
Yep.
as the special goes, is it a concept? Is it a joke? Is it a feeling? Is it a certain theme that you're like, this is going to be what the special is going to become?
Oh man, you gave me so many options. I don't know even. I would love to say my special is a feeling. That would be so fun. It's a feeling. Man, this is all the types of artistic words I didn't get to express myself with as a child. My dad was always like, "Go to practice and hit somebody." So now I get to say that I have a feeling, and it's a project. Um, yeah, I this special actually is for it to not sound so vain, it's just I have come a long way. This year is 10 years, marks the anniversary of 10 years since I was on the show America's Got Talent, since I auditioned and I got all the way to the end and second place, thanks to everybody who seemed to vote me through for some reason. I don't get it. I have self-worth issues. So they voted me through that. And so 10 years ago, it was just crazy to think that um how much has happened, not just professionally, but personally as well. I made a decision a long time ago that I didn't want to just be labeled as like the stuttering comedian. And I know that so much of my background, so much about what I talk about, even now, is the journey that took for me to get to where I am, and I wanted it all to be in one place. And this special is called The Stuttering Comedian just because so many people have that is how they have affectionately referred to me as over the years. And it just makes it, I don't know, I love how it's got that it's almost got like that circus feel to it. Like it's just like a sideshow type feel, and how that has affected both my the mental composite and also the professional one as well. So I'm really really excited for it.
I mean, just as you brought it up, America's Got Talent, I went back and watched your audition and just seeing, where you were then, where you are now. I mean, obviously you can't ever plan for, what the future is going to hold, but especially, fans of yours, new fans, people, who are, speech therapists. I know sometimes, you'll have
Mhm.
conversations with them in the audience, people who might have a stutter, people who just find you funny. Just kind of your platform and what you've done. Like, how do you kind of process these last 10 years? It feels like it was just yesterday I was watching it on TV.
Yeah. First of all, it's a statement on what time is, or what even is it? Because
Yeah.
it's just crazy. It's crazy to think that was 10 years ago. But it's actually so funny you asked that question, Rudy, because I was just in Texas doing shows, and there was a guy who he's just tall, 6'4", 6'5", and of course I'm that as well. I mean, of course we're the. I mean, obviously I could. I mean, obviously I could have taken that guy. It was no issue at all. I'm the same exact height. I let it be known in the record show that I'm over 6 feet tall and that I'm not 5'4". So this guy was this big, tall, like burly looking cowboy fella. and he comes up to me and he's got a stutter as well, and it's so pronounced. And so many people who either they'll bring their kids, or it'll be like, I'm a speech therapist, or I became a speech therapist because my kids have issues and I wanted to find a way to help them. So many stories. But this guy's story, he went to the military. He stuttered before he got to he stuttered since birth. So he was ridiculed by his drill sergeant. And it was just like I hadn't had a day where my speech had really like got the best of me. Any person who stutters knows like there's a good day and then there's a bad day. I had had a section of very, very good days in a row. And this particular day, the night after the show where he came to see me backstage, um, I just took a moment to just kind of, it was just nice to take a moment to tell him that earlier that day I was on the phone with like an automated system, and they were having me read this long confirmation code for insurance, for insurance. And it hadn't actually got the best of me where for a while, until that day where I was emotional on the phone, and I was emotional getting to just kind of talk to this guy. And there's just such a silent understanding between people who have experienced that or do experience that. And it was just kind of this nice like blessing knowing that on the day where I was really struggling, I could commiserate with someone who really understood it. And it was just I don't know, I'll never quite fully grasp the impact that other people might feel for what it is that I do, because I just go up and say stupid, lame, silly jokes, right? But if somebody feels like they're connected to it in a way, then it makes it feel like what I do has so much more significance to it. And I take some time to reflect on that. And so yeah, it's special.
I mean, it's not just, that as well too, but you mentioned the height of the gentleman that you were talking to at one of the shows in your previous special, Short King. Speaking to all the guys who are, I guess what would we say, 5 feet to 5'9". I don't know, exactly what it constitutes.
Wow, yeah. 5'9" would be the
5'7".
dream for me. Ooh.
You know what's funny is that we took a picture together in 2019 when you came to Chicago. I interviewed
Mm.
you another time. We are the exact same height.
Oh, yes. Yes. That's awesome. We
Yeah,
should hang out more, Rudy. I
we
don't know why
should.
we're not walking around. Because if people see the two of us out together, they'll be like, oh, that's not two short guys. That's two regular size guys. Because you can't tell based on how to scale it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we gotta definitely walk down the street. We gotta show the people of Chicago. Look, these are two guys walking in here. We are
We're
not.
just two able-bodied men, and we're carrying like stacks of wood. That's what we need to do.
I
We got our
mean,
coffee
talk a little
cups.
bit about that because I love that special. I watch it, all the time. That's what I'll do too. Whenever I need to like unwind or I just want to relax, is I'll put on a comedy special. That always makes me feel better. And Short King is one of the ones that I always end up watching and always makes me laugh every single. Even though I know all the jokes and what's coming up, I still I still love it. I still watch it all the time. But being comfortable with your height or making jokes. Let me tell a little bit about that process and eventually that special.
Yeah, I mean it's so interesting because, if I start on stage, I always like making jokes about myself. I just think it's a nice way to like in school growing up, it's a nice tool that to just have where you're just like, okay, let me just kind of take any air out of the room by just pointing the attention on my insecurities or my flaws, and kind of humanizing myself. And it's like I want the tone to be set, especially in that special, but in every special. I just think it's important, and in every show, to just kind of set the tone that, listen, there's going to be silly things that I say. But first, let me talk about how silly I am. And this special that I'm filming in Chicago at the Den. It starts off that way. And when I developed my stutter, when I was 20, it became very obvious very soon that you have to acknowledge what could potentially make somebody uncomfortable, or you have to acknowledge you know your own your own self in a way that you can evaluate it and be like, all right, I know this about me, or I know how I look, or I know that I give off nephew energy at a birthday party, and I'm demanding you to watch my talent show. Like I know that about me. So like comedy has done such a great job in like the audience is this kind of um this control group that you can continue to revisit, where you're refining not just what it is you do as your art or your craft or your feeling, but who you are, like as honest as you can be as a person as well. And so, they're not going to let you get away with anything that's false or fraudulent or that feels dishonest. So the best way to start that any conversation, I feel always, especially because of when at a very early into my speech issues, it kind of breaks the ice knowing that you can poke fun at yourself and knowing that you're going to poke fun at other things later. But that's the plane that it should be met with. That's the standard of just like, all right, listen, I might say this, but let's not forget I say other things for the majority of the time about me as well, because I'm
Yeah.
flawed. I'm short. I stutter. I've got OCD. I've got mental health stuff. Like there's all types of stuff, and it's so cool to see that we're in the boom of comedy where it's your quirks can be accepted. They can even be embellished, and people don't cast you away for them.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just individuals, but also, couple wise, people that are in relationships, especially, some of the material that you put there with your wife or including her in some of your social media posts too. A lot of couples bond over that, as well too, because they say like, oh, I don't have to hide this part from my partner. I don't have to be shy about this. Like, this is something that we can embrace together.
1,000,000%. Like my wife has ADHD. It's like severe ADHD. And this story this is something that happened is like people there's some days where I just like I can't, like people who stutter, they tend to do it more whenever they're feeling frustrated or overwhelmed or whatever, or nervous, right? And there was one day where I came home, and both of our issues, my stutter, her ADHD, and I'm sure you already know this, Rudy, they they met each other, both of them outside. Like they had never, like one time a neighbor's on a porch and you're inside, right? They both neighbors came out to get their newspapers that morning at the
Yeah.
same time, because I came back and she could tell that I was defeated, and she was like, "Hey babe, what's the matter?" And I said, "It's nothing. It's just today I'm feeling very stressed," right? That's the exact sentence I said. But the time that I said that, I stuttered on the word stressed. And so it sounded like that several times. And just briefly, for a moment, my wife started dancing to and I was like, "Whoa, babe, what?" She was like, "Whoa," and she started breaking down in tears because she felt so bad about doing that, but her body couldn't control it. I set too good of a beat, Rudy. It couldn't be
Yeah.
avoided. And it wasn't like nothing really speaks more to, I guess, our relationship, in that like she's taller than me, she's quirkier than me, she's so extroverted, she's just different. But that level of no like that level of like honesty that happens in our relationship and in our friendship is so funny, knowing that I spend so much time poking fun at myself and poking fun at her, but that was just one way that like it was just so honest. I just loved it.
Is she coming to Chicago with you?
Absolutely. Of course.
Awesome.
That's why that's what people care about. People are like, I'm like, I'm filming a special. They're like, "Okay, is your wife gonna be there?" And I was like, "Yeah." And they're like, "All right, I'll get tickets."
We'll definitely go get those tickets. He's doing two shows on Friday the 31st of January and then two shows on February 1st. The Den Theater, 1331 North Milwaukee, thedentheater.com for those tickets. Get them ASAP. It is going to be a fun time. And you might even hear your laughter, might even see your face on the special once it's released.
I know, that's exciting. Do I get to see you there, Rudy?
Yeah, I'm going to be there.
Oh, come on. I'm so excited. We're gonna hang out. I might have you on stage with me the whole time. We're just the same height, and you're like, "No, this is just a regular sized man who
We're,
stands next to me
we're,
on
we're just two
stage."
regular sized people.
Yeah, he's my physical support.
Awesome. Well, Drew, thank you so much for your time today.
Thanks, Rudy. Appreciate it.
We'll see you soon.